Cold. Ang katugay, di nakamot na lang tang.
Was the banks, this kind of stretch of river with the colleges backing onto it, and each college kind of owns a boat and has buildings on both sides of the river, which is relatively unusual. Most of the architecture we're going to see as we go downstream in this direction is going to be over on what is my right-hand side over here. Coming up to just here is 570 years old now. So some very old buildings here, whereas obviously everything on the other side is much newer, early and mid 20th century student accommodation on that side. Students at Queen's College. In fact, that's what we're going to see a lot of, really, accommodation for students. The subject department buildings, where they have all their lectures, use all the facilities there, sharing with students from other colleges studying the same subjects then. But then you go back to your college at the end of the day to kind of live, study, do the work, get a bit of one-to-one tuition. So it's accommodations, also things like dining halls, library, retaining walls, and do any work that he's doing. A lot of the buildings, though, the old ones that come right up to the water, they've got kind of wet cellars. So they've just built up some foundations really under the water level and getting it right up to put stuff out over the sort of water table and then start building on that. So if you go into the basement, you're kind of wading around in river water. But you know, that building we just went past there, it's more than 500. You get some good rooms. I mean, they're pretty generous. Every student gets a private room. You don't share rooms.
Oh, nice.
Cambridge University.
They need to study something.
King's College. I love that V building, really. In fact, if we get a bit further over to my left-hand side of the river, we'll get the clearest possible view. But that tall building in the centre of the view is King's College Chapel. Big perpendicular Gothic design.
Hi.
And then everything to the right of that, as we look at it, belongs to King's College. There's a building to the left of the chapel with a big crane next to it that is Clare College's old court. So we'll get along to Clare in a moment. King's, though, goes back to the year 1441. Founded by King Henry VI, who the previous year set up a school for boys. College was almost like a finishing school for Etonian graduates for a long time. In fact, they've got the same chapel at Eton, just a miniature version of this. But Henry decided this had to be the grandest and most impressive college in town. So commissioned this huge chapel. And his masons started work straight away in the 1440s, beginning down at the far end. They got the towers up first, and then started work newest bridge. But yeah, this one's 382 years old, but wonky, and kind of leans one way, and they're doing lots of heavy work at the moment. So they built this one about 18 months ago to get all the machinery and materials in for the work they're doing, because they're too scared to use this way. That big yellow crane came in over this bridge, as I said, about 19 months ago now. These kind of mock Tudor extension, I suppose. Bit of a modern twist. Double glazing. But a very old college. 1350. So in that group really that we were just listing there, very early college. You can see some of the older buildings down this lane on my right, which takes you into the middle of town actually. So we just went through a public footbridge put up in 1960 and a lovely walk. If you can find this, it pops out onto Trinity Street, right in the middle of town, between the two different Trinity colleges. But the red brick behind me at this point you can see, that's Trinity Hall really. And you can see where the new extension has been added on the end.
Yeah.
The roof just pops out the furthest. But then everything we're moving into now is Trinity College. This is their little collection of boats. Biggest
So
ones,
nice.
wealthiest ones. And a family connection as well, which you thought would have get them along in a way, but King Henry VIII's grandmother, Lady Margaret Beaufort, is where the money came from to set up St John's College. That was in 1511. She actually died though in 1509, so really her personal chaplain, a bishop called John Fisher, founded the college in her honour after her death with her money.
With her money.
Which was fine, but then Henry VIII set a bigger college up right next door, about 20 years later, and then wanted to reform the church. But John Fisher, the founder of the college next door, was opposed to that. And so we suddenly get a view of the Bridge of Sighs. And there it is, you can get into the sunshine. Don't worry if you're facing me, we're going to cut through, we'll turn around and eventually come back so we get views from both sides. But it's maybe worth a quick look. If anyone's actually been to Venice and seen the Bridge of Sighs, you'd know it does not look like that. Other than the fact they're both bridges, covered bridges spanning water, that's it. Very different styles of architecture. This one's a bit larger as well and more open. The one in Venice, if you're not familiar, is a really decorative white stone bridge, but a prison bridge really. It links the Doge's Palace to the old prison on the other side of a little canal. So you would have been in a lot of trouble if it wasn't that one. Hence the name. The last glimpse of Venice out the window, a big sign. They just kind of accommodation. I think they might win the prize for the sort of least inspiring bit of architecture on the river. But there's a nice red brick one hiding behind the willow tree there, the Lutyens building. Not as old as it looks again though, it's early 20th century mock Tudor. Point of view on my left hand side up here as we come out of the bridge. You see a big chunk of red brick that's about 530 years old.